Alright, so I'm replaying this mission. This time when I shut down the last of the 3 machines, I got a 40% quest experience points and some other things happened. So this one didn't happen before. So basically the combat ended properly for the first time. It didn't happen before. I think that's the reason for the bug, why we couldn't finish things. Because technically we never ended the fight. It was still ongoing. So we never got this particular reward, we never this didn't ever happen. I'm hoping that this time things will end up a bit differently. Overall, not much would have changed. I mean, there is one difference that it occurred to me that maybe the problem was because I left the situation instead of basically fighting out immediately. So this time I never left for the silver guys in the caravanserai. The first time I came into this place I went and completed it thoroughly. So that could be it too. Yes. So I don't know what exactly caused the bug, but it seems like this time we managed to evade the bug. And just this section alone earned us 40 experience points. This one fight. So yeah, it's not something I'll look forward to missing out on. Certainly no regrets about redoing things. Hopefully things will work out here too. I don't think I tried bashing this thing. It makes the same. It's basically the same as disabling it. There's no, at least, visual indication that anything's different. It also gives the same sound effects when you try to interact, or same text when you try to interact with it after you bash it versus after you disable it. So I don't think that's the difference. I think the difference is that the battle doesn't really end here technically, for some kind of something doesn't trigger if you do things the wrong way. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure what it is. I used a different character to end the final one. Instead of the last cast off, I used Hive here. But I'm not sure how that would make a difference really.
On my way.
Shrug, I guess. I'll do the same thing I did the previous time I was here. I'm trying to persuade, yes. Fail. Fuck. Let's try again. I have no reason not to try again. I don't think it earns us anything. A little bit extra information, I suppose. I'll choose the same dialogue options too, just so I can get through with this. I don't think this makes a difference, so I'll just disable it like I always did.
I'll remember that.
Yeah, there's a quest update. This wasn't the last time either. So yeah, I think we're cool now. Return to Sully Mary. Yeah, this was not here before. So, save. Did we get everything? Yeah, the weird chroma volume. I don't know. I'll take it after we've completed the quest. Ah, just a little bit of healing. Still overall not that
much
bad.
Better.
Oh, that's much better. Just like that.
I wonder how much experience points would have we lost if we couldn't finish this. Oh, hello Quoro. There you are, Quoro says. I had no doubt you'd make it back in one piece, you being who you are. His mouth twists. Be frank, I considered ambushing you, but Sally Mary. He pauses, then forces the words out. Sally Mary cares for you. And in all honesty, I need a favor. Tell Sally Mary I helped you. Please. I would have if I'd arrived in time, but you're so damnably. She wants to dismiss me. Help me change her mind, and I'll tell you something I know about the Order of Truth. You seem awfully concerned about Sally Mary's opinion. A good employer is hard to find these days, he says, studying the air above your head. But not impossible. Tell the truth, Quarrel. Why do you care about her opinion so much? Her opinion? No. Her pay? Absolutely. Things can be found for free, but they're hardly ever worth the price. I'd like more information about this secret he's going to tell me. I deserve more than secrets for doing your dirty work. Fine. I'll give you something from my private collection, but only after you tell her. Will you? I suppose so. I'll tell her you help.
Making a note.
Excellent. I'll hold you to that. Now the secret as promised. Oro nods his companions toward the door. Lan Uring. The boy's a spy for the Memovira. I'm not sure why. He loves the Order well enough. Was going to blackmail him, but priorities change, I suppose. I'll see you back at the Order, Falling Star. This is very good.
I'm ready.
All indications that we're back on the correct path. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with the information though. I suppose it can't hurt, and in a tough situation we can just sell the secret, I suppose, or trade it away. You know nothing about the Memovira. Memovira is supposed to be big in the bloom, so maybe we can leverage to our own advantage. I'm not sure how though. I don't have even access to the bloom. The bloom was a big thing when the game was crowdfunded. I know what the bloom is more or less. I mean the concept. It's not a secret in any way. It's just how are we gonna get access to it? I don't think we're gonna get immediate access to it. It's the first stage of the game probably involves the city only. Once things get sort of opened up a little bit or move forward, whatever, I think then the bloom comes. We cannot possibly play the game through without having access to the bloom. That's impossible.
All right. Yes.
Alright, let's do our little report.
I'll remember that.
So it's at least worth 80 experience points. Ah, there you are, Sally Mary says, beaming and holds out a smooth palm. The Eye of the Mlox, please. You hand it over and she returns it to her workstation. Then she gracefully inclines her head in Koro's direction. Was he of any use to you? Koro gives you a pleading look. We are supposed to get some kind of an item out of this. Yes, he was. Very well. Koro, you can stay. Do try to limit your failures in the future to matters I care less about. Koro exhales all at once and nods in your direction. Ring of Entanglement. It's what the fuck is it? It doesn't seem to have anything going for it. The two characters wearing these matching rings share all petals and 25% of stats healed. This loop of metal is constructed from a short band that splits and branches, threads twisting and bending in upon themselves before seamlessly reforming at the other end. The coils are maddeningly knotted, making it impossible to trace a complete path, yet at the same time a pattern waits to be revealed, just beyond the edge of comprehension. From the handful unearthed... Yeah, I like the fact that I'm scrolling both these at the same time. Okay. Of the handful unearthed through the ages, these rings were once dismissed as mere trinkets until an unnamed collector discovered twins purely by chance. It is said that this man wore one of the matched set and gifted his lover with the other. During one particular amorous encounter, both were astounded by their shared sensations and oddly heightened sense of awareness. When the couple identified the rings as the source of this connection, further use showed that they mutually experienced every physical pain, pleasure, and sickness felt by either. This effect disappeared when they wore an unmatched pair of bands. Lore mystical trained. Rings of entanglement are valued by many, including hedonists, thrill-seekers, the infirm, and even kidnappers, who warn that any violence done to them will also harm their victims. The rings are now thought to exist only as unique pairs and are highly sought after. Two rings of entanglement and 80 shins. By the way, I managed to save few of the drones in the lazaret from Peerless. Yeah, we've gone through this before. We got the 1/2 of our broken ring because of this as a reward. A small bonus. Okay, I solved your problem. Now I need help fixing the resonance chamber.
My studies have borne fruit.
Well, I remember what Adan told me. The chamber was built with living crystals from a world called Ascension. Your predecessor was remarkably resistant to telling me what it was for, regardless of the interrogation methods I employed. Her mouth quirks. He only said that it would stop the sorrow, and that none of the cast-offs could know about it, which seemed odd to me at the time. Escaping the sorrow would be in all of your best interests, I would think. She snaps her fingers. Seek out the cast-off who helped him build it. That surly artificer whose name escapes me at the moment.
I'll remember that.
I forget his name. And I only saw him once. He has machines bustling away in his body, circuits embedded in his flesh. She taps her lip thoughtfully. Speaks to Adan's little cult in Circus Minor if you haven't already. They always seem to know who your brothers and sisters are. Outrageous! Aligern was actually right about something. Now, Callistich, the man is exceptional in his own way. Just because he can't match your analytical speed doesn't mean that he does not have gifts and wisdom of his own. Salimeri arches an eyebrow to you. At any rate, seek out the cult. They should know how to find your machine man brother. Thank you, Salimeri. Her lips part, and for a moment she looks surprised. You're welcome, she says at last. You're quite different from your father, you know. Adan was fascinating, intense, focused on building the chamber, passionate one moment and distant as stars the next. I never understood why. He half turns away from you. Oh, and Adan was ruthless, utterly ruthless. I'm a living proof of that. What do you do here? Yeah, we've already gone through these. Right. You're too many ciphers, right? 30 shins, burning mouse. What the fuck? Oro, right. Thank you. Oro mutters, clapping your shoulder awkwardly as you pass and handing you a small jingling bag. Can't say I would have done the same in your place. Okay, what the fuck is a burning mouse? Immediately remove all positive and status petals from all enemies. Okay. In addition, gain Burning Mouse plus 50% on perception tasks. Active the entire crisis. The small statue of a mouse fits in the palm of your hand. Its pale red eyes glow and flicker like the embers of a fire. Instead of fur, the statue is covered in images of flame and is always warm to the touch. When whispered instructions, the mouse will come alive and scout the area for traps and hidden secrets. So, that removes all buffs from enemies. That seems to be the more important one. Okay, it's surprisingly cheap again. Okay, who has room? Rings. Share all petals, plus 25% of stats heal. That's not all that important, but shares petals is. So we can buff ourselves, we can buff someone else. This might be good for Buffer and Eretis, because Eretis can focus entirely on healing, while I can, for example, buff myself and at the same time buff him. Right, and we got this. Brightly colored aquatic creature has a short loop of elastic material running through one of its 7 legs. You take the object out of your pack and hold it up the attached cord, studying it as it spins before you. It reminds you of a certain creature found in the sea attached to rocks, only this one has a cord of material looped through a hole in one of its legs. Examine. The creature has tough, briny skin and 7 spindly legs that emit radially from a thicker, fleshy disc at its center. Around the disc, on one side, is a circle of puckered flesh surrounding a tightly closed muscular flap, while the other side has a similar flap but is otherwise smooth. Examine the loop of elastic material. The material is flexible but soft, stretching up to nearly twice its original length when you pull on it. Your best guess is that the loop was meant to allow the creature to be worn in some fashion. Necklace? Well, I don't see how it's a necklace, but it's better than a belt. Inclining your head, you slip the loop over and around your neck, where it contracts to fit snugly. The attached creature settles over your chest. You walk a few paces and find that it's somewhat uncomfortable to have the creature thumping against you with every step. After a minute or so of this, you feel silly and start to take it off. As you pull the loop back over your head, the creature brushes against your face and suddenly twitches. You wrench the creature away and watch for signs of further movement, but it seems just as lifeless as before. Cautiously, you bring the creature closer to your face. At first it does not respond, but as you move it around, you discover that it only comes to life when it's near one of your eye. Wear it like an eye patch. Stretching the loop slightly, you gingerly place it around your head, allowing the creature to settle just in front of your right eye. It comes to life, contorting its legs to match the contours of your face. Your right eye is completely blinded by the obstruction. Suddenly, you experience a sensation not unlike someone blowing a single puff of air directly into your eye. You blink several times involuntarily, but only with your free eye. The creature is forcefully keeping your other eye open. Probing around the creature's edges, you discover that it has formed a perfect seal over your eye. Tears form in your covered eye, and a wet, slithering noise accompanies a most bizarre sensation as your vision clears. It takes you a moment to realize that the creature is blinking for you, which is quickly displaced by the realization that you can once again see out of the previously blinded eye. The creature is still in place, but you are somehow looking through it. Delicately, you feel around the surface of the creature and find that the creature's briny skin has slid aside to reveal a smooth, slightly flexible substance that seems to be acting as a lens. Each time you tap it, the creature blinks, muscular flaps swatting your finger aside as it presumably cleans the lens. While much of the world appears the same through your covered eye, certain things appear in use that are wholly unfamiliar to you. Your mind struggles to process what it is seeing, and you know that if you had to attempt to describe the colors to someone, you would fail utterly. As wondrous as your newfound sight is, you find it highly disorienting and resume your search for a way to detach the creature. After some experimentation, you discover that simply removing the loop from around your head causes the creature to release its grip. You feel around your face for any permanent scarring, but the creature has left no mark. Okay, what if we wear it as a belt? You stretch the loop of material to its limit and slip it over your shoulders and down to your waist. Some might find this stylish, but it has no effect. I'm not sure I get what the point is. So we see weird colors? It would help if we would know what exactly do we see. Maybe if we had more lore, we might be able to get more information out of it.
How may I?
Ah, Tier 2 Callistage. Extra effort. She has intellect effort. Can I cancel this? What? Intellect movement. She only has intellect things that she can really use. I suppose some speed too, but lore, mystical, concentration, perception, yeah. She's just too much of a copy of me. I don't like her. I really don't. I think I'll just dump Callistage out of this group. If I would have... no. We're going to have some kind of a double here anyway, so I'm not sure how big of a problem that is. Right. Esoteric knowledge. All party members gain machinery tasks, mystical tasks, natural tasks, lore bonuses. Or, while phased, gain +2 damage. So we can basically make her give buffs to everyone in the group in their certain lore tasks, or make higher damage of her spells. I think she could be more useful to the group as a combat mage, because that allows me to focus on a lot of skills instead of fighting. So, dimensional power. Gain training in lore machinery, lore mystical, lore natural. Not for her, no. On hit confers vulnerable, -2 armor, -1 resistance per tier. It's a field, it's a defensive field, but with the rings we could still use this offensively. Flash deals 8 physical damage to all enemies struck inside the radius. Radius isn't shown. Even on a miss, deals 1 damage for each level of effort applied. It's an area of effect shitty attack. I'll take it. I'll also take the entropic field. Lithosphere Link wouldn't be bad if it would help others, but no. She'll be our combat caster then. Yay. Yeah, these mage protection or debuff fields, I suppose, and then would work well if we could give them to our allies. But I'm not sure. Are this field probably isn't treated as a petal though, so this kind of thing wouldn't work. Adaptation might, because it gives you a protected petal, positive petal. So this would work, but the other field would not. Because the field itself is the source of the damage, and the status effect is what it applies to enemies. This applies a status effect to the caster, so it would be shared. Very, very close to level ups. Yeah, basically if we complete anything, we'll get 3 level ups. I also need to figure out what the fuck we're gonna do with the trader. I'll tell you about something I've discovered. No. I know you're a spy for the Numenera. How did you... He begins, clutching at his trembling fingers. No, it doesn't matter. It's true, but it's not what you'd think. He sweeps the room with a terrified look and continues in a whisper. I needed money for my work. The order doesn't pay for anything besides basic living expenses. One of the Numenera's people came to me and offered me money for a favor. I took it, of course I did. But when they found me the next time, they didn't want me to make a study anything. They wanted me to spy on the order. I said no, and they hit me over and over, and every time I woke up they hit me again. They beat me until I said yes. So what stopped you from basically telling what happened with the Numenera to the leader of this and not do any spying? Or tell the guards or something? I could suggest that he returns the money, but I don't think they gave 2 shits about the money. It was just a way to get him hooked, then force him to act as a spy. You are a coward. The order is suffering because of you. How exactly is it suffering? I mean, he's a spy, but what's so important about this? What exactly does the Numenera want? I'll still say the order is suffering because of you. I know, but they told me that if I don't tell them everything I overhear, they'll kill me. I don't deserve to be a priest, he says, gripping his knuckles until they show white through his fingers. But I've worked so hard. Please don't tell me what I've done. I think I won't. I think we might get something out of the Numenera, maybe, or use this somehow. I mean, I don't give 2 shits about this, if he's spying on these people or not. I don't care. But he might prove to be useful. I have some questions about the Numenera. His eyes go wide. Please, keep your voice down. Have you met her in person? Only the first time, he says, closing his eyes. I hope it's the last. You hear things about life in the Bloom? How ruthless the people living there are. She's worse than anything you can imagine. Okay. Why do you think she's ruthless? It's not what I think. It's not a theory. I've seen her work. He covers his eyes like a child. When I met her, there was a man chained to a table between us. One of her torturers, I suppose, was working on him, peeling his skin away strip by strip. He screamed and screamed, but he rubs his eyes. She waited for the silence between the screams. She never raised her voice, and she never explained what the man had done to disappoint her. I think she just had decided to combine 2 appointments, mine and his. Right. What's your opinion of her? Uh, why do you think her people came after you? It's not just me. I'm nothing special. She wants control over everyone. I was just an easier target. Makes sense to me. But she also is making a lot of enemies. Right, I don't see how I can use this right now. But use it we shall.
Child.
Anything new young? We can... I don't want to tell that he's a spy. No other options are new. Yeah, we have this, but I don't really have an idea what to try with this. That's the main problem. I suppose I could try different color combinations, but I don't see what I'm doing wrong. I don't think I am doing anything wrong. That's the problem. Blazing orange and bright orange could switch, things like that. That's pretty much the only thing that might work, but I don't see how it shouldn't work basically, and I don't think I want to do it now anyway.
It is done.
It's a desperation move basically. But something, if we could get even a little thing of something to go our way, we could get 3 level ups. So there's some small tasks we could do. It doesn't even have to be a full quest. A couple of experience points gained from looking at some items would be good enough. Search for the missing slave girl. What the fuck do I do with the slave girl? Find a book. Yeah, I need something new. I suppose the slave girl would be doable. But I'm not sure I'm in a condition to basically face that kind of a trouble. Well, it might be worthwhile to just go and rest.
Here comes the Boredom Slayer.
I've been putting it off mainly because I have this buff and I think I'll lose it if I go and rest. But we're starting. Some of us are starting to be in pretty bad shape. So no point delaying it anymore. Might as well get it over with. Also costs. So I don't want to do it if we don't have a real reason for doing it. We could do it after the level ups, that would be great.
Happy to help.
All right.
Getting anything new out of them. Maybe go to the underbelly.
Yes. Now.
Something little, explore something, take a look at something, anything. There were quite a lot of different type of people here. There were the Torment, and there were a lot of different type of mutants. So, surely there's something. Manufacturing, intelligence lab. I didn't talk to everyone in the Dendra Horde Chapel. I actually haven't explored these. There's a what the fuck is that? There's a huge amount of blood there.
Action! Here I come!
There's the headless man.
Come in.
Yeah, this is new. The grisly crime scene is blocked by Folsom and his thugs.
Happy to help.
This man towers over you, enormously fat and draped in gaudy robes. His expression is calm, stern even, as he regards the bloody mess spread across the floor and wall. The hooded figures on either side of him tense as you approach. He turns to inspect you, eyebrow lifted, and raises his hand. His bodyguards relax, watching you. In the space of a second, his eyes flick over you. He nods, apparently to himself, as if your presence has confirmed something he expected. What are you doing in the underbelly, Falling Star? Who are you? The people of the underbelly struggle, he says after a long pause. They live and die in the dark. Their sorrows do not reach the ears of those who live in the light. The reflection on your face is a pale circle in the dark eyes. In his dark eyes. And so I speak for them before the mighty, protect them from the predators that see them as easy prey, and he pauses, pressing his lips together. I avenge them when I fail. He folds his arms. Now answer my question. Why are you here? I'm looking for someone. Are you? I know everyone in the underbelly, and I am seeking someone as well. Perhaps we can help each other.
Updated my journal.
He returns his back on you, staring down at the vast pool of blood. This is all that remains of Weedle, one of my protégés. I had hopes for him. Now they will never be realized. The underbelly is poorer without him. The rage beneath his voice cuts each word shorter and shorter. Bring me any information you find. Help me discover the identity of this killer and you will be rewarded. He exhales sharply, then turns around. The fury you glimpse in him is buried once more.
Making a note.
There is an assassin named Matkina. She is known as the White Death. I have helped her find work in the past, but she has become erratic. If she is not involved, she might know who is. If you wish to help in this matter, ask her what she knows. A creature named Mapper may know where she is. I've already met Mapper. I'll find out where Matkina is hiding. I need to find her anyway. I will observe your investigation with great interest. Do you have any ideas about the killer's motives? I have suspicions, he says, a muscle on his cheek twitching. I have enemies. It takes no imagination to conclude that this was meant to hurt me. But the killer did not slit Whittle's throat and leave him for me to find, no. They spilled an ocean of his blood and scrawled nonsense on the walls. If this is a message for me, I cannot interpret it. I want to examine the murder scene. At first, Folsom doesn't respond. He merely stares down at you, through you. I will not have you trampled through his blood without cause, though there had better be one. The murderer may have left behind evidence. I won't know unless you let me look. He casts a doubtful glance behind him, pauses, then nods. Let him pass when he's ready. He tells the hooded figures at his side. They incline their heads. Folsom seems like a strange name for you. Yes, the name was a gift and somewhat of a witticism. from my departed mentor many years ago. Before long, the name was the only one I was known by. You live in the underbelly. Not quite. He smiles like he's paying for it by the millimeter. I rarely sleep, so I need no bed of my own, but I have spent most of my life in these tunnels and grottos. It is a good place. Cruel and unforgiving, but good. His slow gaze sweeps over the underbelly. Sagas foolishly sends its undesirables here, as if it is worthless. But the underbelly is a place of hidden treasures, wise machines, and kind mutants. If I had a home here, I would not regret it. Right.
All right.
Not much remains of Folsom's former protege beyond the vast still pool of blood with a skinned hand at its center. A bloody circle is scrawled on the wall nearby. Inspect the hand. A flayed hand with long slender fingers lies palm up in the center of the pool of blood. The rest of the victim is missing.
I'll remember that.
Right. Bloody circle. You study the dashes and bleeding pinpricks decorating, binding the circle. They aren't symbols in any known human tongue, but you sense their purpose. The circle was almost inconsequential. The sigils gripped to the shape of it and pushed it through time and space. This was, however briefly, a transdimensional portal to another place. Now it is dead. Before you can look away from the circle, a memory bolters painfully through your thoughts, and the memory isn't yours. Yeah, surrender the memory no matter how much it hurts. Fresh blood streams over the circle, yanking you through the hollow of it at its center into the world beyond. A strip of blistered land coils through a void as black as a gaping mouth. The air is thick, foul, and textured with the sickness of maggots. Nausea slams into you, filling your head, infecting your thoughts. You shove the horrific memory away from you, slamming your mind shut like a door and swallowing the knot of nausea in your throat. After seeing that world, the bloody pool at your feet seems almost mundane. I talked about the portal thing. No. New insights? If this murder was intended to hurt me, it has succeeded. If it was meant to send a message, it failed. Right. Circles in red. Track down the murderer. Matkina. Right, it's not necessarily her, the murderer, but she probably knows who it is, so we should track her down. The tattooed man glances up from his study of his maps. You came back. What do you need? Have you heard anything about the murderers down here? Murders? What murderers? Alarm colors his face, and a faint red streak runs through his tattoos. No one tells me anything. One of the drawbacks of being a drifter, I suppose. No one thinks to keep you informed. Of course, in a place like this, people don't generally talk to each other much anyway. Right. I'm looking for a woman named Matkina. Do you know where I can find her?
Making a note.
Matkina? The White Death? I've heard of her. I know where she hides, too. He grins wide, exposing a mouthful of extraordinarily white and clean teeth. I can tell you where she is, but I hate to say it comes with a price. Much as I love to talk about my travels, I need to finish a patch of my Sagas Cliffs map. and I need bragging rights for the next time I see the navigators. Also, she might not be happy, I'm told. But I might be able to help you find it, for a trade, of course. Have you ever heard of the Changing God, savior of Zega's cliffs in times past and so forth? They say he had a sanctuary under the city, a place he used to retreat to and plan for the future while he thought on the past. You know, making possibility maps. That sanctuary is the one important place I haven't seen in Sega's Cliffs, and I need it to be in my map. As far as I can tell, it's not far past the Stitcha lair. The problem I'm having is that I just can't make any sense of their language. Maybe you can talk to them. He shrugs disarmingly. It's a hell of a price, I know, but there it is. You want to find Makina, you will find the sanctuary for me. Is there some other way into the sanctuary besides the Stitcha lair? His eyes exasperated. There must be. Changing God wasn't the kind of person who just put one entrance into the place, but I haven't been able to find the back door for the life of me. Why don't you go look for the sanctuary yourself? The schist-sucking Stitcha, that's why. They've got their precious eggs in the lair, and they won't let me in. It's not like I've got any interest in the eggs, but I got no patience for dealing with their clicks and rumbles. I just want to know. Got me? Fine, I'll be back when I've found the sanctuary. Oh, this is gonna get much more complicated, isn't it? Maybe I should ask around if they're seeing the murderers. Seen anything? Wait a minute. Pauper. Dead end. You find a jumbled pile of large rocks at the end of this roughly hewn tunnel. Motionless limbs of a stitches protrude from the mound, the rents in its carapace painted with dried ichor. Move the rocks to uncover the corpse. The first rock is the hardest to shift. Once you warm to the task, you are nearly flinging them aside until you have fully exposed the corpse beneath. Examine it. Clearly the creature was digging this tunnel when the roof collapsed and killed it. Its smaller claw is mangled and smashed, but apart from the crushed thorax and a few gnashes in its carapace, the body itself is surprisingly intact. Okay, that's doesn't really tell me much. The one of the Stitcha died there?
Of course.
Shrug? Right, this has to go to the cliff. Yes. I'll see if anyone else has noticed anything odd about the time of the murderers. Varenov should have noticed something. A flight of stone steps descends into the water. The cavern beyond gradually widens and connects to the sea. This large and heavily muscled woman wears what appears to be rags that should have fallen apart ages ago. She looks so tired that it wouldn't be a surprise if she fell asleep on her feet. And yet, when she opens her mouth, her voice is energetic, like a little girl who's about to get a present. Hello, can anyone hear what I'm saying? I can't make this work. Without warning, she slaps herself. I hope no one saw that. Who are you? Are you talking to me? Her head swivels awkwardly around, trying to catch a glimpse of you. Oh, you are! My name is Baranov. No, my name is Baranov, champion of the wastes. The woman flinches at the sound of the very different, booming voice that comes from her own mouth. That's not my name, you stupid thing. It's Baranov, champion of the wastes. Damn, I come from a land you've never heard of. Damn it, I guess I'm not allowed to say. Uh... You're controlling a construct. That's not a real body. Ah, don't be ridiculous, the other woman shouts. You've got it, the girl says a second later. It keeps yelling over me if I talk about something I'm not supposed to, she says, lowering her voice. But maybe if I speak carefully. Her chin drops to her chest. My family explores the world, using special tools. The body stabs itself with a finger pointedly. But they tell me I'm too young to help, so I waited until everyone was asleep and, you know. The head lolls back to its neck, winking at the roof of the cavern. Are you explorer too? We could pretend to be a construct too, but I don't see why one should. Yes, I am an explorer, but not like you. Oh! For some reason I thought that you were a champion of the waste too. Damn, it did it again, didn't it? Just don't tell anyone what I am, alright? What can that construct do? Well, it's really hard to break. My mother, that's usually who controls it, once got stepped by an adult earth shaker. It just stuck her in the ground like a nail. The woman flexes a massive bicep. Am I flexing? The girl says. I'm trying to flex, anyway. It's also incredibly strong. Punch holes in mountains strong. Arm flops back to her hip. And it's not really a construct. There's no metal inside. She has blood, bones, perfect human expressions. Not that you can tell that from how I do it. The girl asks sourly. The woman's face grimaces along with her. Where did you get the construct? I was born in a storm on a battlefield at night, the woman roars. Ah, the girl says after a respectful silence. She really doesn't want me to tell you that what I just tried to tell you. Can't you tell me anything about where you got it? Seeds, the girl blurts. Oh, she let me say it, but I probably won't get away with more, sorry. Right. Why do your people explore? Our impenetrable fortress in a lost valley is falling apart. I think we should just go out into the world for real, but no, my family is afraid. The fingers on the woman's right hand wiggle like they're playing an instrument. Her dead expression doesn't change even as the girl's voice rises. I'm not, of course, but they won't even let me use this thing. I have to sneak around like a child. Right. Who are you again? Right. Won't allow tell us her real name. What exactly am I supposed to do with this? Can I ask about other things? No.
I'm ready.
Wait. You can interact with this one. Why is it yours? A small hollow-cheeked mutant sings a soft, wavering tune to herself. Yellow bruises discolor her skin, wounds formed not from violence but from malnutrition, and her prominent bones bend and twist at odd angles. Still, she smiles. She smiles at the oily water devoid of any fish. She smiles as she arranges her empty basket beside her, and she smiles at you when she sees you standing over her. Hello, I'm Crooked Geek of the Cold Canyon Tribe. I haven't seen you down here before. Hope you're not here to fish. They're nibbling instead of biting today. She calls into her cupped hands, a raw and ragged hacking that bends her double. You take her for a child at first, but after studying her features, it's clear she's in her late teens. It's only some mutation, and her bony stature born of starvation that makes her seem childlike. You said you are part of the Cold Canyon tribe. Are they down here too? No, they're all gone, either dead or gone. She still isn't meeting your eyes. There used to be a lot of us. We came here when I was a baby, running from a war. Some sort of war that never ends. My parents thought we would be safe here, but the tribe died off one by one. She turns away, wiping her eyes. The city is hard on people like us. How was the city hard on your tribe? They were used to living in the wilderness, so they knew what they could eat safely. Here it's not so simple. My mother told me that 10 people died eating tainted food before we found this fishing hole. He stares into the murky water. Then there's the diseases you can catch in the city, and the hate. A lot of us were killed just for being hard to look at, I guess. Is it as hard for you to survive here as it was for your people? No, she says, smiling. I don't have a lot to eat, but I'm more resistant to sickness than my parents were, and people here know me, so they leave me alone. You said everyone in your tribe is dead. Not everyone, she says with a brave little smile. I'm here, and some of us are just left for better places. I bet they're doing really well. Is your real name Crooked Geek? Sort of. My parents called me Geek, but the nickname came later. She hunches over, her eyes darting shadily from side to side. It's because I sell junk for high prices and bribe the levies to carry people off into the night. She laughs. No, not really. People call me Crooked because I look twisted and broken. Right. Do you know where I might find a woman named Matkina? Matkina? That's not what people call her. He leans toward you, eyes as round as coins. They call her the White Death. She's an assassin. I don't know where she is, and I hope I never do. Are you scared of her? They say, she begins, then drops her voice to a whisper. They say she can freeze your blood by speaking your name, and if you look into her eyes, all of your hair will turn white. Yeah, you don't really believe those stories, do you? She blushes. No, but she's a killer, and I have a soft spot for scary stories. Why don't you think the fish aren't fighting? The fish down there are pretty fast and smart. They're nibbling at the bait, then swimming away. He watches the line with a combination of hunger and weariness. It's hard for me to get to the hole in time when the rod twitches. Harder to reel in the catch. I'm not very strong. Can I fish with your gear? You're welcome to it. Only, if you do find something, could you share? She trails off, blushing. Never mind. Company's better than a scrawny fish. Don't you mind that people call you Crooked? Not really. I can't call them liars, can I? She smiles, but it's not that the radiant thing you saw before. Right. You sure you don't mind people calling you that? I do, but I won't be less crooked if they stop. Fair enough. $178, $177, $177. Yeah, if we get 3 experience points, we'll get 3 level ups.
Here comes the Boredom Slayer.
This thin, glowing thread pierces the surface of the water and plunges deep into the black depths, like a white line drawn in shining ink. Examine the line. You try flicking the shining string and your finger goes right through it. Could you try catching something for me? I had no luck today. Besides, everything down there is pretty much stronger than me. Try catching something for Crooked Geek. I mean, I don't care too much about other people's problems, but Jesus fuck, that Crooked Geek is so fucking pathetic. I wonder if I could just buy a piece of meat from the meat seller or something. Try catching something for her. You pull on the line and something in the dark below pulls back. You press your lips together and reel in your catch. A muddy cipher dangles from the end of the line. It's beautiful, Crooked Geek breathes. I was just hoping for fish. I can sell it and eat for weeks. Ugh. I don't know what it is. I don't know if I care too much either. I feel sorry for her. What I would basically what I would like to suggest to her is maybe I should buy it from her. Maybe she'll sell it for the local shopkeepers and I can buy it. Hand it over for her. You're so fucking pathetic. You pass the cipher to her and she squints her eyes shut in unmitigated joy. Thank you. Use my fishing pole whenever you want. Back on the line. You take hold of the fishing rod and begin reeling in the line. But nothing is on the hook. You might have better luck tomorrow. Well, are you gonna go and sell it? Right. Headless man. Ooh. Cultists keep an eye out on things. Maybe he's seen something. The cultist glances over you casually. His eyes widen when they reach your face. I heard you intended to explore the city, but never imagined you'd find your way down here. What an honor. How can I help you, beloved vessel? I'm helping Folsom discover who killed his protege. Have you seen anything? I haven't, he says, his brow creased with regret. I will absolutely tell you if I do. What about a woman named Makina? The cast up? Not recently. But she does work with Folsom from time to time. He may know where she is. Examine the cultist. The man is pale, dirty, and nervous. He is stealing glances at you two every chance he gets. He flinches when he notices you studying him. Right. Come on. 3 fucking experience points. That's not too much to ask.
On my way.
Mantapa.
Something to do.
Mantapa. This lissom Jack looks down on his luck, touching from his bare feet and dusty jerkin, but he takes in his surroundings with a hopeful gaze. As you approach, he smiles and throws out his hands in greeting, which reveals the tools of the trade on his belt. How now, helpmeet? Got any? He stops as he sees Tiber with you. Tiber! Good to see you. Last I heard, you and Rhys were running from the levies. Slipped them again, eh? Is your new crew? Looking for an in and out man? I'm free at the moment and ready and able to do some crimes. Man's my boy. Always joking, Hyber says through gritted teeth. And so loudly. He puts an arm around the young man's neck and snugs him in, a little too tight. Someday someone's going to hear one of your loud jokes and call the watch on you and me. And no, this is not my new crew. This is my friend who I'm helping find his way around the pitfalls of our great city. Hyber turns to you. Grant is actually the most honest boy in Sega's clips, aren't you, man? Manth swallows. Why, yes I am. They don't come much honester than Manth Paw. I pretty much just sit around all day thinking of ways I could be more... Tiber's meaty palm covers man's mouth. That's fine, lad, that's fine. You know, man has the most dangerous job in Six Cliffs. He's a window washer, hangs out over the sea faces of those cliffs houses, and scrubs away without a care. And if that weren't enough, when he's not working, he's down here in the underbelly helping people find their way around. Go on, just ask him. He knows everything about the place. That's right, says Man as Tiber lifts his hand. Ask me anything. You want to hear about the people who live here? Or maybe the Stitcher tunnels, or the manufactory, or those crazy Dendra whore bastards. Okay, actually I'm interested in the Stitcher tunnels. They've dug him all over the place around here. You only see the ends of them since they fill them with loose dirt that only they can dig through. Okay, that's not particularly useful. Know anything about the murder of Folsom's protege? Oh, that is some spooky effluvium, and no mistake. Circle of blood on the wall, but all they found of the Vic was a skinless hand. It happened in that alcove on the other side of the structure if you want to see it. Matkina. The White Death? Oh, you ain't crazy, are you? Sorry, none of my business. I couldn't tell you where she is, but you might want to talk to the mapper. She's squatting in one of the shanties down here. If there's any place she can hide, he'd know about it. Yeah, well, I've already talked to the mapper. He wants me to find a hidden sanctuary of the changing gods first. Is that so? A spot even old mapper knows nothing about. Who would have thought? Mant rubs his chin. What you might want to do then is jump up to that Stitcher over there. I know. Who talked to a Stitcher, right? But I have a feeling they're smarter than everyone says. Right. Tell me about the Dendra whore. The cannibals? Sometimes I think they do it just so they can be crazier than anybody else. I know they got some kind of mumbo-jumbo reason for eating dead folks, but I think they just like making people squirm, you know. No, I don't think so. Manufactory? The heart of industry in Sega's Cliffs. People think only the crazy and the crooked live down here in the underbelly, but if you want to see the hardest working people in the city, go look in those furnaces. That's real work, that is. Tell me about the people. Well, I won't talk about everyone. There's a lot of us here, but they all hit the highlights, or lowlights, I guess. There's Folsom, of course. He runs things around here, not officially, mind you. He's just the sharpest chagan with the hardest crew is all. Michaela, who sells bits and bobs at their stall. Milk, the meatmonger, who sells meat. Tell Milk I sent you if you pay him a visit. He gives me a shin for each referral. Oh, let's see. There's Ali Jern, the Aeon Priest, who isn't anymore, but still knows his stuff. Mapper, Crazy Carker, who's covered in maps, and well, I suppose there's Crooked Geek. He's not very interesting, but she looks funny, if that's your quote. That's all that's worth mentioning. Right, a general take on the underbelly. It's the bottom of the ladder. As they say around here, there ain't no more down to go. But that's a good thing, right? Means you've got nowhere to go but up. Passing thought dims his cheery expression. Unless you drown or get swallowed by the bloom or something. Yeah, okay. That wasn't useful at all. Maybe earlier it might have been slightly useful information, but not now. Surprisingly hard to get a little bit of experience when you need it. No one saw anything, that seems to be the theme here. So one way or another we need to talk to the Stitcher. That seems to be the key to everything here. Anything new? Do you know a woman named Makina, pale skin, hard looks? I I know that one. Hard and twitchy. Asked me to ken the workings of some weird old device she had. Obsessed with it, like it was a bit of snip and she a slave to it. Never seen the like. You seem like the kind would be interested, so I'll tell you. It was a jacket knobbly thing, black and evil, little warts all over. She seemed to think it could help her remember something, but I couldn't even figure if it was on or off. Near to killed me when I couldn't make it work for her. I'd been mad, except I saw how sick she was with it, shaking, tears, the whole lot. Send her on her way and wish her luck. She'll need it, poor thing. Okay. We were planning to maybe buying some of this, but maybe not. Seriously, I suppose I need to go to this teacher. That might be the easiest way to earn a little bit of experience. We need to maybe at least map the situation there, so we know what's required of us.
Why not?
Let's go.
Helii, why are you here? This violet-skinned visitant paces back and forth before the cavern's opening. It wears fine clothes that serve to accentuate the tall, thin crest on its head. A symbol has been painted on the crest, mirroring the insignia mark on its chest. Its clothes are finely tailored and well made. The name of the creature's race crawls to your mind. It's a Bargillan. This one has temporarily chosen to be female. Her bulbous eyes flash quickly around her surroundings before focusing directly on you. The council didn't send you, that much is plain. You're aware that this cave isn't safe, I hope. What exactly do you want? Who are you? An agent and negotiator, dispatched here by the council, but that should be obvious from my clothing and my guards. What council do you serve? The only council there probably is, but still. She gives you an incredulous look. The ruling council of the city, of course. Heads of the slave families. You must be new to Sega's cliffs. Very new. So why isn't this cave safe? Not unless you trust the discretion of the Sticha, those insectoid monsters that are prowling about. Most people are afraid of them. So what are you doing here? I'm conducting a diplomatic negotiation on behalf of the city. Unfortunately, I'm not dealing with a reasonable species. Her crest flutters irritably. I've made no progress at all. Days wasted in this miserable tunnel, and I have nothing to show my superiors. Maybe I can negotiate. She looks you up and down, considering. Doubtful, but you might have other skills I can use. The circumstances call for a new tactic, and these levies cannot do what needs to be done, nor can I. Bargilla nods. If you truly think you can help, let's put you to the test. She waves off the levies who flank her. Her gestures are short and choppy, sharp and irritated. It's these damnable Sticha. Speak to them. I offer, cajole, negotiate, and threaten. Yet they persist in their digging, and every day another house on the cliffs above slips into the sea. If the digging does not cease, the city itself may crumble. So there is my request. Find a way into their lair, remove their precious eggs, and return them to me. These hostages shall ensure the future of the city above. If you can negotiate a lasting settlement that does not require such drastic measures, you may also pursue that method. I have been trying for days with no success. Well, I'll see what I can do.
Making a note.
Good. We need to stop the Stitcha before they bring down the entire substructure of the city. She pauses and lowers her voice. If you manage to infiltrate their lair, be sure to acquire all of their eggs. I suspect they will have multiple clusters, and we will need them all if we want to negotiate from a position of strength. She hands you a synth ball with a blinking device inside. Once you're in the lair, activate this. It will show you all the tunnels, the egg clusters, and the Stitcha themselves. Better to know what you face before you charge in. Questions? Very well. Be aware that the time you spent with me is more time for the Stitcha to undermine the city. You mentioned the slave families. Who are they? We might as well ask about this. She's the only one who has even really talked about them, or is willing to discuss them with me. She scoffs and then points to the sigil mark upon her breast. The slave families are the descendants of those brave souls who rose against the injustice of the previous rulers of Sega's Cliffs. Led by Gila the Great, they cast down the tyrants and tore their families asunder. The faithful who stood with Sheila saw their service rewarded with stewardship of the city. Their descendants carry on with this grand tradition. They have made me their agent. Can you tell me anything special about this picture? Filthy animals, scattering insects. Who can say if they're even sentient? First and foremost, they dig, and they care nothing for the homes they destabilize or the lives that are lost when our buildings collapse. They do not speak the truth reliably, so we cannot know if they understand the damage they cause. Though I suspect that they do. How do you communicate with them? Her crest flutters as she hisses in irritation. I have not the faintest idea. I do not even know if they fully understand the truth. Perhaps the one that points at itself and cheaters can help. I call it Chikekt. It can mutter a handful of words and perform some sign language. I've tried to negotiate with it, but I have gotten nowhere. What are the Stitcha doing here? I cannot imagine. They dig incessantly. They insist upon digging tunnels underneath the city, destabilizing the crack upon which Sega's Cliffs is built. Countless buildings have collapsed or fallen into the sea, more so than is ordinary based on the shoddy construction so many of our residents employ. The problem has struck Cliff's edge especially. Many loyal citizens have perished. So where did the Stitcha come from? Her eyes wobble in frustration. If I knew, I would send them back to there in a trice. Some years ago, perhaps decades, they simply appeared here. They have been causing problems ever since. I'm actually surprised they haven't been murdered here already. Tell me about yourself. I'm Peliai, an accredited agent of the slave families. I act with their full faith and authority to resolve the Stitcha crisis. Right. So we didn't get much out of her either. I'm inclined to leave things here. I doubt this is gonna be a simple matter to solve, so now at least take a look around. This tunnel is blocked by debris, but it's loose enough that the burrowing creature could easily push its way through.
Yes.
Right, so he's the one we can potentially communicate with. Multiple passages,
I am the very soul of action.
but none that we can use. Right, so what exactly are we expected to do? We need to track down the murderer, which leads to the mapper, Matkina. Probably Matkina, because we need to go into the lair of the... What are they? Stitches? And somewhere beyond that there's a lair of the Unchanging God? Yeah, this is getting complicated. Changing God, yeah. Unchanging God didn't feel right in my ear either. Changing God. A sanctuary of the changing God, right? So it all connects, at least 3 current quest lines all connect to the cold and calculating Jack Matkina. One way or another, the Stitchas situation has to be resolved. Right?